Hi guys. So if you were already enrolled last semester at Tuskegee, you were familiar with the old version of Blackboard. Now we have a new version of Blackboard. So I'm going to be both quickly introducing you to how the new Blackboard is set up and then specifically showing you how my courses are set up so you know where to look for things and what to expect. So you sign into Blackboard. When you log in, it's probably going to default you to this activity stream. This is supposed to be helpful, showing you, what you have coming up that's due and things like that. To get to the class directly, you go to courses. You're going to scroll down. I'm using English 101 Section 2 as an example, but regardless of which class you're taking with me, they're all set up exactly the same. So one class, if you've seen one class, you've seen them all. So I'm switching to the student view so I know that you're seeing what you will normally see when you log in. So now you've got all of this stuff over here at the left. This is your just sort of general navigation, and then all course content is now on this main page, so you keep scrolling down. When you're on my class pages, you're going to have two things for each week. You'll see I'm still in the process of putting this together, so it's not all quite in order, but generally you're going to have this general course info at the top, and then from there it'll be two things for each week of the class. One of them is a folder, and inside this folder it's stuff that I would normally hand out in class that week if we were meeting face-to-face and doing everything like I used to. So the first week, it's the syllabus, it's the calendar, information about how to get reminders for due dates. Anything that's due that week will also be in that folder for the week. So if it says week 1, schedule assignments and materials, that's everything you need for the week except the learning module. That's separate, and I'll go over that in a second. So these are the three things that are due that week. I always put the stuff that's due at the bottom of the list. Everything above it is supposed to help you figure out what to do for those assignments. So the first week for most of my classes, you're going to fill out just a student info sheet. It's just 100 for doing it, and it just lets me know, like, what name do you want to be called? Do I need to know anything about your technology access and things like that? You'll have a syllabus quiz just to show that you have the high points of the syllabus down, and then an introduction discussion board, and you just participate, introduce yourself to your classmates. That's pretty much how every one of these is set up. Some weeks there's not a lot on here besides the assignments, but they are all in that first folder. So this is the general information for the week and the assignments for the week. And then the other thing you have for each week is a learning module. This would actually be inside this folder if it would let me do that, but it does not, so it has to be its own separate little thing. So when you want to do the learning module, you got two choices. So you can expand the list. You hit that little down arrow, and it's going to show you everything in the learning module in a list, and you can just click on each one to go to it. To go straight to whichever item it is. Some weeks, like when we get later in the semester, there's going to be an assignment for some of you guys that'll require you to watch a video and respond to it. This is a quick way to get back to that video without clicking through the whole learning module. But to go through it in order, which is how it's set up, at least the first time through, you just start by clicking on the first thing on the list. It will open it up for you. All of them will start with this list of what you should know or be able to do by the time you finish the learning module. And everything in this is basically the stuff that I would present more in lecture form in a class meeting. And the way that I'm doing the class, I'll explain in a separate video. But generally, all of the lecture stuff that's not interactive is all in the learning module. And then the class time is for the more interactive, discussion-oriented stuff or application and things like that. So it's basically a flipped classroom, but it is possibly all virtual or only partly face-to-face, depending on the course you're in and how you're attending. So this will show you, and then just from here, you just click this arrow, and it will take you to the next thing. It's all put in a certain order to let you go through it in an order that makes sense. There'll be notes about any videos, like what to pay attention to. A lot of the videos will be sort of like an alternative to something that is written down, so that if you're more of a reader, you can read the information, and then if you're more of a listener or watcher, you can watch the video instead. I'm trying to make sure that everybody's got a good pathway to the information that works for their learning style and preference. So a lot of times the video will tell you whether you should definitely watch it or if you can skip it if you already did the reading or whatever it is. It'll give you some notes about it. So you just navigate your way through, click the arrows to go through the different videos. There will not be only videos, there'll be different activities, it'll be readings, lots of things like that. So and then at the end of every learning module, you can see it over here on the list, there is a review quiz to make sure you got the high points of whatever was covered in that learning module. You can retake it if you need to, but when you're ready to do it, you click View Assessment, and then it will let you start answering the questions. When you're done, submit. Don't just save and close, because that doesn't actually submit it. Do make sure you submit your answers, and then if you want to close it out and come back later, you do that. That's fine. But that's basically how it works. And then each Monday, I move the new week to the top of the list. So eventually it'll be reverse order, where week 15 is at the top, then 14, 13, and so on. But for right now, they're all in the correct order, so you don't have to scroll all the way to the bottom. The only time you should have to do a lot of scrolling is if you're going back to look for a previous week that's further down the list. But every week has that pairing of a folder with the general materials, the learning module. The top thing at the list, or the top thing on the page here, will be things like the syllabus, calendar, information about the Writing Center. If your class has an e-textbook, it'll have the information about how to access that and things like that. That'll all be in that top folder. The only other thing you probably need to know, well, two things. So when you are wanting to know what your grades are, the grades are over here. And so when you are ready to see, how you're doing in the class, check your grades and stuff, that's how you get to your course grades. This is a colorful list right now because not all of the due dates have been upgraded or updated yet. Going back to the content, you click on the far left button here. That takes you back to this menu, and you can see the picture of it looks a lot like this to help you figure out which one it is. And then the other thing you want to know is how to get into the online class sessions. If you're attending virtually, you will want to use Blackboard Collaborate. I only am using the course room. There's no individual sessions to keep up with. You just, when you're ready to join, you click course room, you open it up, and then once it's loaded, you will have a menu down here at the bottom. Here's how you can either turn your mic on or off. If you want to use video, you click share video. It'll give you a preview so you can see how you look. Right now my lighting is not great. Wow, okay, there it goes. And so if I want to share it, I can share it. And then when I no longer want to share my video, I just click this again and it stops. You want to raise your hand virtually and get my attention. There's your menu. If you want to get your other status and settings and stuff like that, you click on the picture view. You can also add a picture. I'll show you that in a second. You want to let me know you stepped away and that you have a reason that you're not answering. If I'm asking you a question, you can click this, and then when you're back, you click your back. These are just sort of responses, agree, disagree, all of those kinds of things. And then to use the text chat, you come over here. The everyone chat is the one you want to be typing into, and then you can see who's in it based on this. You can also see how your signal is both there and here if you're curious if your internet is messing you up. And on the My Settings, if you want to add a picture, you just come over here and next to your username you click the pencil and it'll let you upload a picture. Doesn't have to be you, and you don't have to do it, but it can help other people recognize that you are a person on the other end if you have some sort of image to associate with you. So you can definitely do that if you want to. And I think that mostly covers it. If you have questions just about where to find things, definitely ask. Here's a shortcut to sending me emails, and you can also email me through our regular school email. But you just let me know if you can't find it. If it's an issue related to not being able to log in, I can't really help with that. But anything about like where do I find this in your course, you can definitely ask me those questions. And if you ever have something that's not working like it seems like it's supposed to, just let me know. I might just not realize that something isn't set up correctly. So I will probably be very appreciative if you let me know of something that's not working. So don't be afraid to let me know. That's pretty much it. I hope that this makes sense. It'll be an adjustment for all of us to start with, but I hope it works out and helps us use Blackboard a little bit more effectively by the end of the semester.